So you've decided to dive into the world of Guild Wars 2. First off, welcome to the community, and on behalf of everyone, I hope you enjoy your stay. Now, if you'll step right this way, we'll fit you for your robes because you're officially one of us. And by that I mean part of the best MMORPG community out there, at least in my opinion. But that's not what you're watching this for, the pleasantries. You're probably new here and you want to know what's what. So in this video, I'm talking about character creation in its most basic form. The biggest thing that I can tell you about creating your character is that you should play what interests you. The character races don't matter. And while they do have slightly different aspects to their personal story, it won't change how you play the game. So if you want to play a bestial char, go for it, which is tempting for a lot of people, myself included, if you've played Guild Wars and know the history there. Maybe you like to be a living, breathing plant person, often referred to as a salad, i.e. the Sylvare. They're the latest addition to Tyria, and I'd say when you get far enough into the story, they have some pretty cool secrets and story points. Of course, you have humans, who are numerous and have endured so much in their short time in Tyria. There's the Norn, which are basically tall humans, or often referred to as Vikings. And finally, if intelligence is your thing, the Asura and their genius minds may be for you. Again, there's a little bit to the story that each race will experience in a slightly different way, but you're not going to miss out on any major story points, and the differences are minor, and in no way change how the game plays. On top of that, the race you choose is pretty well cosmetic. Now, for the classes, things are a bit different in Guild Wars 2, and you're going to hear that a lot with this game. You have 9 classes to choose from. They're broken up into 3 types: soldiers who wear heavy armor, adventurers who wear medium armor, and scholars who wear light armor. Each of these 9 professions have 4 elite specializations as of this video, which are like fine-tuning your profession further into a special sub-profession or subclass. But don't let that scare you off. You'll learn how to play your professions and your elite specs as you go. Side note, you can learn all the elite specs, so you don't have to worry about choosing just one. But for now, we're going to focus on just the core professions in this video. And for those that aren't familiar, I've tried to pair these with some of the classic archetypes that you may be familiar with from other MMOs or other fantasy games like Dungeons and Dragons. The professions are as follow. The basic combat profession, though in no way is this supposed to be a simplification, is the warrior. They have a high survivability and hit with heavy melee attacks. Often called the fighter or barbarian, they're pretty straightforward and use their adrenaline to power through any enemy they come up against. The Guardian is a bit like a support fighter. They have defensive magic called virtues, and they help both the Guardian and their allies while allowing them to wear heavy armor and swing large weapons. I'd liken them to a pseudo-paladin. The final soldier type is the Revenant, which is a magic-wielding fighter that can hit hard with a sword or sling spells that hit just as hard. It's a unique class that many say is unique to Guild Wars itself and doesn't fit the normal archetype, and I generally would agree. Personally, if I had to pick an archetype class from D&D, I would compare them pretty close to a warlock. Engineers use tools and gadgets and turrets, mech-like robots to overpower their enemies or support their allies with elixirs and utilities that keep the fight going. In my experience playing an engineer, it's always felt like a good class to play since you've had the utilities and turrets to back you up, much like a companion or an ally that has a rocket launcher, healing spells, and gun turrets. If you've played or wanted to play an artificer before, the engineer is your chance. Rangers are exactly what you'd expect. They favor ranged attacks, while their animal companions often hit your target up close. Each companion or pet has different abilities. They can also wield elements of nature, beast mastery, and marksmanship, among others, to help fine-tune the ranger's abilities. I don't feel like I have to call this one out, but just to be safe, in case anyone's wondering, the ranger is, well, best likened to a ranger. Check your pockets and the shadows, as the thief is the acrobatic and stealthy profession you'd expect. They will disappear only to appear behind their target with a dagger in hand. The thief isn't the toughest out there, but they use their initiative to spam abilities. Some may call them thieves, some call them rogues. One feels a little bit more like an insult and implies that they did in fact steal something versus just really light-footed and can easily get the drop on you, especially in the shadows. Where's my wallet? Necromancers. They summon minions of the underworld. Using their dark magics, they're capable of stepping into the shoes of Grinth and his Reapers. This one I feel is fairly self-explanatory again, but to give it a broader term, the Necromancer would be like a dark wizard. Mesmers. Illusionists extraordinaire. They daze, confuse, and inflict damage on their enemies through clones and phantasms. Without a doubt, this would be a sorcerer specializing in an illusion-type magic. Finally, we have the last profession and my personal favorite, the Elementalist. If the name didn't give it away, they are capable of controlling elements of fire, water, air, and earth. Using the magics of Tyria, they sling element-based spells and are masters of the downstate rotation. The Elementalist, I would say, leans more towards being another class of sorcerer specializing in elemental magics. Now, I did some serious thinking about how to talk about professions. Why? Because Guild Wars 2 doesn't have the normal tank, healer, DPS, in the sense that games like World of Warcraft does. Now this has changed in some ways over time, but generally speaking the professions are very flexible and builds allow for anyone to be whatever they want. Some are better than others, so with that in mind, I highly recommend giving multiple classes a try, if not all of them. I'm not saying that you have to have 9 characters at level 80 and then complete their elite specializations, but give each a chance. Play them for 10 or 20 levels, or spend an hour or two trying each out. See what piques your interest and what feels right to you. The truth is that you'll probably start multiple characters anyways, trying to figure out what you enjoy playing the most. Once you get into the game and have found your sweet spot with your profession and your playstyle, abilities, and even what kind of content you enjoy playing, you can further fine-tune your profession with the elite specializations. You'll also be able to better determine what alts to make, since you'll know what kind of content you want to play and what's really needed. Now I know this advice may feel very superficial, but there's so much flexibility in this game it's not even funny. And I think that the game and the people that come into this with certain preconceptions, only to find out the game really isn't like everything else out on the market, and they have to adjust to how they play, and they don't enjoy playing the same thing that they've always played before because something else is more fun or it fits their style better. They don't really want to go play a tank. They don't really want to go play a healer. Whatever the case may be, something's different here, and that's okay. That's why exploring your characters and what you want to play are going to be a very important step in your Guild Wars journey. And that's why I say try them all and play what interests you. If you'd like to see a more in-depth breakdown of the professions, or if there's something you'd like to see me cover, let me know. Until next time, I'm Nomad and stride safely.